Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 released in 1995 by Midway the same year as the original MK3. This was basically just an update on the original, adding more fighters, more stages, and stage fatalities, and also feels like the more complete game compared to the original. Other than those changes, it's basically just MK3, but a better version. When the original MK trilogy gets brought up in discussion, the third one seems to be the oddball out of all of them. One of the major reasons for this is probably because Midway chose to change the entire theme of the game. They chose a futuristic western cyborg theme this time instead of a dark tone ninja theme. Whether or not you liked this change or not obviously just depends on who you are, but fans of the original first two Mortal Kombat games definitely disagree with this change. I personally don't mind the theme for MK3 because I've actually never played the first two Mortal Kombats. Alongside this major theme change, they also added more fighting mechanics. Fans of the first two Mortal Kombat sometimes disagree with this, but I think this is actually something that set up future Mortal Kombat games like the Mortal Kombat trilogy on PlayStation 1 and the even later Mortal Kombat games on the PlayStation 2 like Deception and Armageddon. Which, by the way, if I'm going off script a little bit here, I will personally say I think that Mortal Kombat trilogy for PlayStation 1 and Mortal Kombat Armageddon are the best two Mortal Kombat games ever made. Going back to Ultimate MK3 though, I will say I really do like the character roster. The original MK3 character roster is complete dog shit, but Ultimate MK3 kinda adds what it needed to be in the first place. If you take a look at both the rosters here on screen, you will see that the original MK3 is missing a drastic MK character. Calling a game Mortal Kombat and not including Scorpion is kinda crazy. It's almost like making a new Sonic the Hedgehog game and not having Sonic the Hedgehog. I say that because whenever you think of Mortal Kombat characters, the first two you probably think of are Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They're pretty much the poster for the entire franchise. But getting off the characters and even taking a look at the gameplay, the game actually runs really smooth. I am looking at the Sega Genesis version in this video, and I will say it runs and loads pretty fast. Even when shit hits the fan on screen, the Sega Genesis seems to be able to keep up and keep a steady frame rate at all times. That's kind of why I chose to do this version of the game, because the Super Nintendo version just runs kind of sluggish. It's also missing levels and stage fatalities. I would also go as far as to say that Ultimate MK3 on the Sega Genesis is the best 16-bit fighter on the console. However, the only other two fighters I've ever played on the Sega Genesis were Justice League Task Force and TMNT Tournament Fighters. So really, for me, I don't have any other competition here going against Ultimate MK3. If you're looking to come back to this game out of nostalgia, or you would just want to play it for the first time, this is still fun and still holds up in my opinion. It is a pretty challenging fighting game, but after you learn some of the combos with some of the characters, you will enjoy it. Just a little bit ago, I was actually talking about how hard the first three games were, and I'm not even lying. The AI that fights you actually adapts to the way they fight you and learns your fighting patterns. And you can definitely tell that when fighting these bastards. We'll have to give them credit though, because doing this in the early to mid 90s is no easy feat. At least I couldn't imagine it to be that easy. Also, I'd probably go as far as to say this is probably some of the smartest AI I've ever fought in any fighting game. You can kinda actually tell that they've toned down the difficulty in future Mortal Kombat games, because the older ones are way harder than the newer ones. The AI in the original trilogy will genuinely make you hate your life. But that was the whole point back in the early to mid 90s, because you had to get some kind of replayability out of the money you spent on your game. I do understand this tactic, but at the same time, these AI did not have to be this damn challenging. Holy fuck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review on Ultimate MK3 for the Sega Genesis. If you did, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to my channel. I hope to see you guys in the next one.